Hello everyone and welcome to The Break Run. My name is Frank.
My name's Kevin.
And my name is Dan from Midway Mayhem.
And today we're going to be talking about all of the new roller coasters coming to the United States of America in 2021.
So let's start off by talking about one of our most anticipated coasters, and that's VelociCoaster. So Dan, you're an expert at this ride because you're always there filming about it. What do you think about this ride?
I was literally just there 10 minutes before this whole episode and whatnot, but it looks amazing. It's big, it's tall, it's fast, and it's flashy. It looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
So this looks to be like the first modern next generation Intamin launch coaster coming to us stateside.
Yep.
Hopefully this means that we're going to be seeing a lot more if this is successful, but I couldn't be more excited for this ride.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be fantastic, and it's one of those, it's not going to be too extreme where family members, you know, little kids and whatnot, they're still going to enjoy it. But us enthusiasts that want the airtime and the G-forces, it's still going to be there.
Yeah. So what is your most anticipated part of this ride?
For me, I think it's the story. I love the idea that Universal is kind of dabbling into this story-driven roller coaster attraction, which started with Hagrid's and now we're looking at this. I think the story that they're going to be able to tell with an attraction this dynamic will truthfully be unparalleled to anything we've really seen on this level of thrill.
I think the story is evolving every single day too. We're learning little bits and pieces about why the lights are the colors that they are and different things, how the trains, the designs of them and whatnot. For some reason we have rocket boosters on the back of the train though. Don't know about that one, but overall I think the story is one that's going to be really kind of neat. Obviously set in Jurassic World, and we've heard that there's going to be some of the main characters from the films, correct?
Yep.
All right, so what are your thoughts about that?
I think it's interesting. You know, that's something we've started to see with a lot of more recent attractions, both at Disney and Universal. It's definitely ups the price tag of different attractions for sure, paying for these actors. But I think if you're telling a story and you're immersing guests in a movie, they need to be the real actors.
And I'm not trying to take a jab at a company or anything else like that, but that's one thing that kind of Avatar. Okay, Flight of Passage. I wanted to see Sigourney Weaver.
Yep.
You know, it felt kind of weird not having her in there.
Yep. No, I totally agree. How are you supposed to be immersed if it's not the right actor? I get it.
Yeah, but from a non-story standpoint, I just think the whole ride layout looks awesome. I'm most anticipated for that the zero gravity barrel roll over the lagoon.
Yeah,
it's gonna be awesome.
Maverick 2.0.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it is. I think for me, it's probably the Heartline roll, but I also think the launches. I've always been a big launch fan, and I think going into launch 2, when you actually hit the LSMs, it's going to put you in the back of the seat, and I'm excited for that one.
Yep. So we talk a lot about VelociCoaster. Let's head up north a little bit and let's talk about LEGOLAND New York, which is a brand new park opening in Goshen, New York. About an hour and a half, I think, outside of New York City. What do we think about this? It looks like they have 2 roller coasters coming.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 2 small coasters. I think it's something that is decent enough to open the park with. Nothing too extreme, but just it's nice that they're actually adding some roller coasters in.
Yeah, there's a void up there as far as like family entertainment. Yes, we do have like, you know, Dutch Wonderland and some of the other places, but having a LEGOLAND in New York, millions of people are in New York.
Yeah.
They need a LEGOLAND. We have one here in Florida. California has one. It's only right that New York would have one as well.
Yeah, I agree. And it'll be interesting to see, too, LEGOLAND's first dabble at a cold weather park. Will it be open year-round? Will it be seasonal? I'm not sure. So just kind of transitioning, we talked about cold weather. Let's go to sunny California. And we're talking about Emperor at SeaWorld San Diego now.
Yeah. Another dive coaster. Dive coasters, they're a hit and miss for me. I like how it's a cool concept, but sometimes they're not the most intense rides. But this one is a little bit shorter than most dive coasters because we have some dive coasters about 200 feet, but this is much smaller than that. So what do you guys think of a smaller dive coaster?
I don't think you're really going to sacrifice the ride experience by having lack of height. I think where you're having lack of height, the ride is having more speed. From some of the test run footage that we've seen, it hauls. It goes pretty quickly and whatnot. So some of those inversions and elements, I think you're going to take it a little bit more pace and say like Valraven. And one thing for me that I'm not a huge fan of those, I like the old school B&Ms where it's just the harness, not the vest. I like having the airtime ragdoll all the way down. Emperor's going to have the vest restraints. So be it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, but that's me being nitpicky.
Well, you know, it's interesting too. Valraven has the larger trains than Emperor will have. So you were talking about speed, and you were talking about how it hauls through the layout. Those small trains, I think that's the first dive coaster in the U.S. with a 6-seat
Yep,
wide
D6.
row. So it'll be interesting to be able to experience that stateside.
Yeah. So another SeaWorld park, we have Icebreaker opening up. So what do we think about that?
Icebreaker, I think, is exactly what that park needed.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of rides that are 54 inches. Nothing really for any of the kids underneath that.
Yep.
They were missing this kind of attraction, having Icebreaker with that. It looks, again, a lot of fun. Good
Yep.
speed. Eject your air time through some of this stuff, guys.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
There's family coaster, you know, in quotations, but it's
Yeah.
got some thrill to it, and I'm excited.
Family coaster with a beyond 90-degree spike.
Yeah, and a double down right after the main top hat.
Yep, exactly. So I think it'll be good. Like you said, it is what SeaWorld needs, and not only just from a family side, but from a launch coaster side.
Yeah.
It'll be so nice to get that in the park, and it really is needed.
I think it's going to be a sleeper hit.
Yep, I agree.
I really do. But the only thing that I can say is, this isn't not another jab, but how do you guys feel about it not having all sorts of theming? You know, were you expecting icebergs and stuff like that? Like, what do you guys think?
You know, in my opinion, to me, the theming looks very similar to what Mako has become in terms of, yes, you don't have the shipwreck around the area, but I think when you look at the station and you look at the queue, it's really the same thing as the Mako experience or a Kraken experience.
Yeah.
I think we're past the days of Manta and Antarctica at SeaWorld, and hopefully they come back soon, but I don't, this is what I expect from them now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It would be nice, but I think it's for what it's worth and what they're trying to go for right now. It'll be all right.
In my personal opinion, I would rather have a park spend the extra money on ride experience instead of theming, but that's just me. Now, when you go to Universal, you can't have that though.
Yeah.
But we're seeing like SeaWorld and Six Flags parks and whatnot kind of go away from major themed attractions, but they're investing that money back into the ride itself.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and you know what? You think about like Antarctica. I agree with you. I would rather Antarctica the ride be a little bit more meatier than the actual, and have less theming on the outside. But you know, kind of heading down I-4 a little bit to our next park, we're talking about, I think, whatever is everybody's most anticipated ride of 2021, and that is Iron Gwazi, another SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment Park. This will be a RMC hybrid coaster, a hyper hybrid, right?
Yep, hyper, 200 feet plus.
There you go, and it'll have the steepest drop at 91 degrees. Had to beat out Steel Vengeance by 1 degree. So what do we think about Iron Gwazi here?
Looks amazing, sounds amazing. It's going to absolutely haul through the entire course. I sound like negative Nancy right here right now, but again, same situation. If you're comparing Steel Vengeance to Iron Gwazi, it's one of those, like, I wish we could have had just another 1,000 feet of track. They have a big area right in the middle of the ride attraction where it's just blank. And for a couple more $1 million, I wish we could have filled that in. But I don't think the ride is going to sacrifice the experience, because I feel like you go through the elements on this much quicker than Steel Vengeance. Steel Vengeance is massive and it's very spread out elements. This is boom, 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 one after the other after the other.
Well, and you know, you talk about an extra 1,000 feet of track. With an extra 1,000 feet of track, does that bring another brake run or a mid-course brake run? And
So they could do,
So I think with Iron Gwazi, because I don't think it's going to have a mid-course brake run. So the fact that you have no chance to catch your breath, even though it's shorter than Steel Vengeance, might put it on par with the experience of Steel Vengeance, because they do have a mid-course brake run.
One of my favorite rides is Storm Runner at Hershey Park, and that ride is short and sweet. So it might be the same thing where it's short and sweet, and it's a phenomenal ride.
Yeah, I love Storm Runner at Hershey. It's always a good ride, and can't beat that launch.
Yeah.
But Busch Gardens Tampa is not the only Busch Gardens park that's opening a new roller coaster this year. We have, going up north, another new Intamin launch coaster, Pantheon, at Busch Gardens Williamsburg in Virginia.
Yep, and it just got the trains on the track today, test dummies wrapped up and everything, so it looks like testing is going to be starting ASAP for that too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, when I first saw the announcement, I was like, this looks good, but it didn't really drive me crazy. But now that the ride is done, getting hopefully closer to opening, seeing some more pictures and videos, I'm really excited for this ride.
Yep.
It looks awesome. I'm glad to see another Intamin launch coaster coming back to the States again.
Me too, and you know, I think it's interesting. I'd love to pose your guys' thoughts on this. how does this ride fit in to the park, but as well as the area of the park it's going into? What are your thoughts on that? And you talked about theming, you talked about ride experience.
I don't know. It looks good. It fits in the area. I like that it's kind of in a big open area from what I've seen photo-wise. I haven't been up to Williamsburg since construction has started. But I think overall, it's gonna fit right in with the other lineup of coasters that they have. You know, they have Tempesto, which is already a launch coaster, but now you're getting launched and you're going in different areas. I think that stall that they have on that ride is going to be absolutely stupid. I cannot wait for that element of the ride.
Well, and that with Verbolten, they're going to have 3 launch coasters there. And maybe even another one down.
I know. If that other one does happen too, which is crazy. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is turning into launch coaster capital.
Yeah, for sure.
So now we were talking about an RMC earlier, and then we jumped over to this Busch Gardens. But continuing on the RMC trend, we have probably what I'm most excited for, and that is Jersey Devil at Six Flags Great Adventure. It'll be the tallest, fastest, and longest RMC Raptor single rail roller coaster to ever encounter the world. So what do we think? I love this ride.
I have to know first off, have you guys done a Raptor before? Either one of you?
Yes.
I have not.
Okay. Oh my gosh, Kevin.
You're missing out.
You don't know what you're about to go into. Like the single rails, I've done Wonder Woman, and I've also done Railblazer at California's Great America. Balls to the wall, does not stop. It goes so fast that you literally are standing off the side of the ride and you're like, there's no way this thing is operating that quickly. It's so good. And if that's just a preview of a very large scale Raptor single rail, I can't wait for Jersey Devil.
Yeah, and you know what I love about this ride is I feel like if you look at Six Flags Great Adventure's coaster lineup, there really aren't that many gaps. And this is a ride that fills one of the few gaps that they have.
Exactly.
And I think if you look at because right now Great Adventure has almost a holy trinity of Nitro, King Ka, and El Toro. Now you have 4 solid rides that are put any park on the map, and I think Great Adventure is just the place to be moving forward.
I would say the only thing I'm a little concerned about is because like Wonder Woman, I rode Golden Lasso. That ride is wild because it's so short and compact and it's so intense. I'm worried that it's gonna be a little bit taller, longer spread out. It might not be as intense, but that's my only concern. I think it's going to still be solid.
I think we'll see how the testing goes and whatnot. And I think the footage from that is really going to be definitive how things are going to happen with it. I think it's going to do the exact same thing and just fly through the entire course.
I hope so.
So what do we think about Stunt Pilot, guys?
Beautiful. I love the white color. I think it's so interesting and unique. You don't see white on roller coasters now.
You don't.
You know? So we already know that RMC Raptors are amazing. This is just going to be right there with it. But train length is different, correct? It's a little bit longer of a train.
I think so, yeah.
So I think we may feel some different forces on that are compared to the other one. So
and how do we feel about this being a fit at Silverwood?
Perfect.
Yeah. I think it's something different and unique. Again, that's going to elevate the park experience. Something that they don't really have much of.
I think it's interesting too because when these were originally put on the market, they were kind of positioned as a RMC for smaller parks to get their test their waters of trying out a big marquee roller coaster. So it's nice to see a typically smaller park like Silverwood kind of dabble into this water and really put themselves on the map with this.
I think it's kind of interesting with the close proximity for RMC and Silverwood and whatnot. They've obviously been working together for many, many years on different projects. And Silverwood hasn't installed a major coaster since, say, Aftershock, and that was already a relocated ride. This is custom from the ground up, even though custom, but it's Silverwood's first real big attraction in a very long time. And I feel like this attraction is going to bring in a lot of people that haven't gone to Silverwood in many, many years.
I agree. So now we talked about smaller regional parks. The last one we have on our list is Adventureland in Iowa. They are opening a SNS 4D free spin roller coaster Dragon Slayer. So I think this is an awesome addition for that park, something that there's nothing like it nearby. So I think the crowd that goes to Adventureland is really going to love this attraction.
Especially with a lot of locals going to that park. People in Iowa might not have been to other parks that have these 4D free fly coasters, so they're going to be blown away by it.
Yeah, I think so. And even when you go to the parks now that do have these 4D free flies, general public loves them. Enthusiasts, it's kind of hit or miss on it. Me personally, I love them. I think they're a ton of fun. In fact, I did one that was over in Japan where I literally felt like I was on a washing machine just spinning the entire way through. So if Adventureland can do anything like that with Dragon Slayer,
I'd much rather do a 40 free spin than a Zach spin.
Yeah. Now, are you sad that the old Dragon iconic coaster closed down over there?
I never rode it.
Yeah.
I forget who made that. Hopkins. So I think it would be exciting if I had the chance to ride it, just to say I rode a Hopkins ride, but I could just go to Castles and Coasters and ride the two there. So
all I can say is miscredit.
I hate when the one that got away.
Yep. Now, it is interesting. We didn't have this on our list, but there's also another park opening, a brand new park opening in Iowa. I wasn't sure if it was this year or next year, but I think they have a couple big roller coasters as well. So Adventureland adding this Dragon Slayer is almost like working towards having something to meet the competition where they are.
Yeah.
Turn up the heat just a little bit.
Yep,
It's kind of nice. So a little friendly competition is not a bad thing, especially for us, the consumers. Bring it on.
Yeah.
More coasters, the better, in my opinion. We've got all these different rides and attractions going on, but there's also something going on at Indiana Beach.
There is.
Something big.
Yeah.
What is it, Dan?
So we got an old coaster that was in Mexico. I cannot think of the name. I think it's Chimera, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had an accident, had a death on it, but the owner of Indiana Beach is relocating that ride over into their park, and I think it's going to be a fantastic fit. They're saving the ride. They're obviously going to upgrade it and make sure it's safe and whatnot. I'm happy because I don't see myself getting to Six Flags Mexico or anywhere in Mexico anytime soon. So I'm glad it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love a good classic Schwarzkopf?
They're one of my favorites, yeah.
Yeah, and there's something about a Schwarzkopf, like even the one at Lagoon that I rode recently, it still runs amazing. Scorpion, you ride it today, it still runs amazing.
And my favorite, Super Duper Looper at Hershey Park, still runs great too.
Yeah.
So I hope also at Indiana Beach they do a nice refurb on it. Hopefully maybe get some new trains, give it some TLC to really have this coaster back in its primetime glory days.
Yeah, and now let me ask you guys something. This ride before was at La Friera. It was called Drier Looping, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
And then is that name going to be recycled to Indiana Beach, or do we not know yet?
I don't know about that one. To be honest, I would hope that it doesn't get recycled.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one about a respect kind of thing. Somebody died on this ride, guys. Like plain simple, as well as they don't want that stigma carrying on into Indiana Beach.
Sure.
They don't need somebody to look up the name of that, and the first thing they see on Google is a death on that attraction.
Well, and I will say the Drier Looping name was not on the ride in La Fiera, but still, I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah, try something new. So overall, I think we hit them all.
Yeah.
Right?
So if we had to pick one coaster we're most anticipated for, what is it?
I can't do that. I really can't, because each one of them is special to me. I have a history with Iron Gwazi. I used to operate the original Gwazi. I was on the recommissioning crew when we had the Millennium Flyer trains on there, and I've watched the entire process of it getting stripped, put back together with RMC and all that. And if I really had to choose one, I think I'm the most invested in that one because of the amount of time and effort that I put over the last couple of years. So,
awesome.
But as far as overall ride experience, that and VelociCoaster, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
I think I stand by what I said earlier, and that's Jersey Devil. And maybe that's just because I haven't been on a Raptor before, but Great Adventure was my first home park.
Yep.
It's always exciting to see something new come to your original home park, and I think they knocked it out of the park with this edition.
Yeah, so that wraps up. What are you guys most anticipated for? Let us know what coaster you cannot wait to ride new for 2021.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify Podcasts.
And of course, if you guys have the opportunity to check out Midway Mayhem on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course YouTube.
And Dan, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, guys. Thank you for your time.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Take two.
Action. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Blooper.
Yep.